It gets better, right?
You
It
get
gets
used
better.
to it. There's a difference.
It probably shouldn't even happen.
If you got it, you got to flaunt it, Acid.
You know what? I got a lot of stuff that I don't want to flaunt, so I just keep it to myself.
Jeremy is really big into the used mattresses. That's an excellent deal.
He has a used mattress store on the side.
Acid it's about what the dog represents. It's his memory of his life.
Did it represent?
The ultimate Jesus allegory. The dog was Jesus at the end of the story. The dog was like this.
You killed him.
The dog does this.
Yeah.
We all know that Scorpion goes to Narnia first. He spends time in
Is that it?
Narnia, and then he goes to hell.
There's a bus and it's about to hit me.
Clay, how you doing?
Doing a little more poorly after that terrible introduction. I was just fine, to be honest with you.
Hello, Sci Fi Gangstas. This is the show where we talk about science fiction, comic books, video games, but really it's just an excuse for me to catch up with my friends, old and new. I'm Anthony Denar, media scholar and person intimidated by the superior facial hair from the rest of the panelists here. Except for Jeremy, it looks like you're trimming up your facial hair there a little bit. But that has definitely been something that I struggle with is having a full beard, right? It's a little patchy. That's what I'm trying to say. But we have a great show here today. Today's topic, we're talking about science fiction technology that you wish would not be invented, right? That's a very choppy way of saying science fiction technology that we don't want, right? That maybe it popped up in a sci-fi television show or film, and we're like, no, thank you. We'll go through our list here in our second. That is our topic for today. But of course, you can listen to us on YouTube live, and then later on, and then you can also listen to us on Spotify. Check us out on Spotify. We're also on Apple and all that kind of other stuff too. But once again, you can check us out in podcast form. If you just want to listen to us, maybe you're walking down the neighborhood, you got your headphones on, you want to listen to a mediocrely funny podcast or show where we talk about science fiction, comic books, and video games. Our usual panels here, we have Jeremy, we have Acidtrain, and of course, returning once again, Bloomerforthewin. You can check him out, his Twitch at Bloomerforthewin. And I'm guessing that he likes to play the guitar. That's my guess, just based on just the way. I don't know what it is. You're giving off some kind of vibe, Bloomer.
It's probably the way I'm sitting. You can tell it's a real guitar player's pose now that you can tell. Has nothing to do with the 6 guitars behind on the wall.
He just likes to buy guitars. He doesn't play.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot. That's one of the things. The real truth is buying guitars and playing guitars. They're two very separate hobbies. It's a lot like buying video games versus playing video games. You buy them and hopefully you get around to playing them eventually, with work and family commitments and stuff like that. It gives you enough time. You get that 20-minute window once every few weeks.
Well, excellent. It looks good. I must say you have an excellent background there. You say you have 6 guitars. What's your favorite one?
Oh man. Well, my favorite is you can sort of see it here. There it is. It's a Gretsch Electromatic. That is my absolute baby. It is by far my nicest guitar. It's also one that I don't play as often as I thought I would. It's one of those ones I polish, I stare at, I play for 10 minutes, and I go, all right, something a little easier, like this one here. That's a Pacifica. I'm like trying to arrange and figure out where I'm looking at. Yeah. That one, the Pacifica, which is a lot. It's a really friendly player guitar. So.
Excellent. Yeah. Right. So, Bloomer, it's good to have you here. Remind us where you're broadcasting from.
And so I'm caught up here somewhere in Canuckia land or Ontario, Canada, and caught up in my music studio where again you already kindly plugged my Twitch channel and where you guys can find me 4 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, typically on twitch.tv/Bloomerforthewin.
Now I know you're big into twitching some video games,
yes.
But do you also just get on the guitar and play a little bit for the fans?
Once in a while. I actually did that today. That was today's stream. Was just a few hours. I used to be sponsored by a game called Rocksmith. I don't know if any of you have heard of it or know about it. I'm sure Acidtrain. You must have seen.
That's how I found you.
Yeah.
You and that and Hobbs.
And Mr. Wow Hobbs, of course, the legend himself. So yeah, no, I've definitely done that. However, right now my passion, my streams are mostly revolving around a new game. It's actually in closed beta right now. I'm super lucky that I got involved with it really, really early. It's from Bad Fox Studios. It's called Super Squad. It's a 5v5 MOBA slash shoot 'em up style game. It's actually kind of a new genre called a MOSH, multiplayer online shoot 'em up. And it's wicked fun. They're open this weekend for another closed beta, the 48 hours, which is amazing. I'm really excited, looking forward to that. And where you're going to find me this whole weekend is basically right here playing that game. So
sounds great. Excellent. With Bloomer, great to have you on the show. If you're familiar with the show, you know that obviously we have a main topic that we discuss, but first we want to catch up, right? That's the whole point of this show, is for me to catch up with my friends, meet interesting people. You can always skip ahead in the time codes on YouTube and in the podcast form. But first things first, we catch up, and I'll go ahead and start off. I've been taking, as many of you know, when I say many, I mean 2 people in here. I've been taking that digital editing class over the summer, and it's one of those, it's only a month long, so we are really grinding through the semester, just kind of learning how to use Premiere. Premiere is the primary platform that we're using, and I have learned a lot about Premiere within 2 weeks. Like it's kind of crazy how much time I have been putting into this particular digital editing class, and of course it's a master's class, so I have to write up, why I'm editing in a certain way. Well, it's because I wanted to convey, like I had to do a lot that kind of stuff, So, but it's actually becoming a far more enjoyable as the class goes on. The first part, we're kind of talking about theory and that sort of thing, why cut at certain points in a film and that sort of thing, and the medium shots versus close-up shots and what they convey, and getting reaction shots, that sort of thing. And now we're kind of getting more into like the practical part, where the teacher provides you shots, basically just a bunch of shots, and then you edit it together the way that you want. And it's pretty cool because it's actually kind of an enjoyable experience for me, just to be able to kind of be a little more creative. It's been a long time since I've been able to do something creative. Obviously, write papers all the time for grad school, but just being able to put together a scene and kind of make creative decisions is a whole lot of fun. And it's actually kind of cool to see what everybody else is doing too, because we all get the same shots. So we get all the takes in a particular scene. So some of the takes are good, some of them are bad, some are different angles, obviously, and that sort of thing. And to see what other people are doing, I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting that you decided to open up the scene with this and that kind of thing. But I will say, I am pretty happy with mine. I must say, I think I edited it pretty well. But just learning all the shortcuts and that sort of thing, and just being familiar with the platform it's kind of crazy how much I've learned in terms of using the software of Premiere over this semester. So we're getting to the kind of the fun part of the semester where I'm just basically putting scenes together. So it's kind of fun.
Now I got to ask, because I'm super interested in this one. I use Premiere myself, but saying I'm a novice is probably giving me too much credit. So did you find that you said it was a masterclass? Has it been beneficial, worth your time, worth the investment in order to take the actual masterclass, as opposed to struggling through finding YouTube videos? Or what do you think?
Most definitely. So when I say master's class, it's part of my PhD program. So
okay.
Yeah. So and my professor, she makes films.
Wow.
So she knows what she's doing, right? So and obviously the class is we're reading theory, not as much as you usually would in a semester in a master's class like this, but we're also there's tutorials. Like there's a whole tutorial system that the university has, and it would just sit there and you just watch the videos, and it'll go, you can edit this, and then you can move this, and it kind of just goes over everything, and it kind of gets more advanced the more you go on. It's definitely, Premiere is one of those platforms where you can't really just mess with it and learn it. You have to have somebody teach you, because there are certain things where you're like, I would have never have known that can do that, because you don't know the terminology. Like in your head, you're like, I want to cut this, and I want to make this script. I want to make this do this, or like I want to, whatever. I want to increase the audio here, decrease the audio here, but you don't know the terminology, so you don't know where to find it. So having someone literally walk you through it. Okay, so we're going to increase this here, and okay, here's another thing you can do. You can move this around. You can kind of it's kind of crazy how much I've learned in 2 weeks so far.
Wow.
It's only a month-long course because we're really moving through this particular class, but I'm putting a lot of time and energy into this class. But it's been a lot of fun.
Nice.
Definitely. So I'm learning a lot of stuff, and that's why I'm making intro videos for this show, because I'm just having fun with it.
So many intro videos coming soon.
So many intro videos. Excellent. All right, so we'll go ahead and move on to Jeremy. Jeremy, what's new?
I've been playing so much Mass Effect.
Nice.
Really an unhealthy amount.
You're playing on the next gen console, right? You're playing on PS5 or Xbox?
Yeah, ish.
Okay.
The series, the only one I could buy, the Series S. But it's been fun. I mean, I haven't had any issues with the actual system. It's just I hadn't played anything since a year and a half ish. So apparently, I decided to make up for it since it came out last Friday, and I played. I'm not even going to say how many hours.
He's just taking a break right now to do the show, and when we're done, he's
hours.
going to go back and play some more.
It's true.
Yeah.
Now, haven't you already played through this? Like, what's the appeal of going back and going through this video game again?
Well, I mean, what's the appeal of reading a book a second time, or
I mean, that's fair. I mean,
watching a show a second time?
I was expecting a little more thorough of an answer, and one that's not very defensive.
Well, I mean, like I've said several times on the show, the only reason I play games is for the story. That's why I make fun of sports games. I think they're pointless. So I mean, it's just I mean, it's the experience of reliving someone else's story.
Now, Bloomer, he's making fun of me for a little bit because I joined an online franchise in Madden. I've been having a whole lot of fun doing that, and they're all mocking me because apparently we can't play sports games on the show, and that's
right.
That doesn't seem nerdy enough for this, you jock, you.
Yeah.
I'm the jock. I am.
Stop working out and go get a hamburger.
Here's the sad part. When I'm the jock of the show, something's wrong. Something's wrong here. But yeah, Acid, what's new with you?
Well, mark your calendars, ladies and gentlemen, because today was the first official day of summer, because today was my first day off and a long stream of like 77 more days to go before I have to go back to work. Cool. So I'm pretty excited. Yep. Yesterday, dropping that last kid off and kicking him off the bus. Actually, I threw him off. Just hurled him off. Said, "Get out. Won't ever see you again."
Didn't even stop the bus.
Didn't even
he
stop.
Actually just
I
pushed him out the window.
Pushed him
and
out the
go.
window. And he was gone. No.
You just opened up the emergency exit in the back and just drove really fast.
I did. Yep. Everything. Didn't even matter. So yeah. So today I got really salty playing Hearthstone this morning, so I stopped that and then ended up playing like retro everything today. From I got Streets of Rage 4, which is fantastic. Oddworld, if you guys remember Oddworld from PS1.
I do.
They've remastered it.
You're getting emotional just thinking about it.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yep. Oh, so emotional. What else have I done today? I actually have, speaking of video editing, I've actually done some editing myself. I purchased, because it was on sale on the Steam store, was the Movavi. Is that how you say that? Movavi video editing suite. I think it was usually $80, but it was on sale for like $10. So you know what? Let's do it. I got $10. So I'm still kind of getting used to that. There are some features in it that I don't particularly care for because I used to use a bootleg copy of something. We won't say what. But they caught on and wanted me to register the product, so I went ahead and just deleted it, and then bought this, so I don't have to worry about that ever again. And then so it has different features as opposed to what I was using to this. But I did put up a YouTube video today, just reminiscing on some classic stuff and hoping they're going to remake a Chrono Trigger, which would be nice, since they've I say recently done Secret of Mana and Final Fantasy VII. Of course, I wouldn't call Final Fantasy VII a remake. I would call it a big pile of garbage. So, anywho.
But how do you really feel? Jeez.
It's a big pile of garbage. That's what it is. The original is classic gold, but the remake is a big pile of stinking garbage. But we won't talk about that because we're not talking about that today.
After yesterday's show, we kind of mentioned Twisted Metal, or I mentioned Twisted Metal, and I went through and I found a YouTube clip where it had all the Twisted Metal Black endings,
Nice.
and I watched the whole thing, and it still holds up.
I'm sure it does.
Those endings still hold up.
Yeah. I'm sure they do. Good, great. But yeah, I mean, other than that, just been playing Contra, Pac-Man. I've been retro crazy for the last week or two, which is honestly, it has dialed down the salt level, okay, for my gaming life, because this is starting to become a big pile of garbage. Just because they can't balance it properly. And everybody's quitting. This is the thing. Everyone's quitting Blizzard to go elsewhere. So I'm afraid that everybody that I still hold near and dear to my heart are just going to leave. And I'm going to be like, well, that's Lord knows how many thousands of dollars that I'll never get back again. So, who knows? Who knows what will happen? But yeah, so summertime, here we go.
Awesome. Excellent. Well, I'm glad someone's having a break this summer. Of course, I have to teach 2 summer classes just to get that money in.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm teaching 2 online classes.
If you streamed on Twitch like me and Bloomer do, usually we're in a hot tub streaming. We make millions every hour. It's
I was
insane.
gonna say millions. Like that's like before I change my bikini.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Then I come back. And
Pick your
make
color
more
for $500.
Yeah.
And they just do it. And don't you feel like you're changing your bikini about every 2 or 3 minutes? Yeah.
It's usually I'm not as good looking as you, so it's about every 15 minutes.
Every
for
15.
me. But
Okay,
yeah,
that's fair.
yeah,
Still. I mean,
do we want to know why you're changing your bikini? Like, is there some kind of issue going on?
It's a whole thing.
It's
A matter of fact,
change,
it just came out today officially. Twitch has now made a hot tub, pool, and I think it's bathtub streaming area. So officially it is absolutely, because it's been kind of a hot button topic on Twitch for a while now, whether it was allowed or not. It was becoming kind of the meta of just chatting section was people being in bikinis and hot tubs. And the truth is they usually do things like every 50 subs will be a bikini change or something like that. And they officially just moved it into its own separate section now. And that is, I think when I checked earlier, it was about the 3rd highest row on Twitch at the moment. So there's a fair number of people
for the adult only section to open up on Twitch.
Yeah.
And you have to pay like however much it is every month just to get access. And of course, prove your age to get in there. And I'm hoping that when that happens, they all just move over there and they just leave everybody else alone.
Yeah, this is a totally separate topic, of course, than what we're going to talk about today, but I could talk for quite a bit about it because I've heard some specific people that came from other, we'll call them cam sites, that have made their way over to Twitch and are talking about how great it is because it's bought them an extra 3 or 4 years of this.
Keep going. Tell me about it.
Well, we'll try and keep this as PG as properly. Yeah, how long? You got 3 hours, boys? Because let's sit in. No, it's the real truth is I don't care at all. I think it's great, good for them for finding a way to make ends meet. I really don't take. I'm not one of those streamers that's like, oh man, if those girls weren't in bikinis, I'd have way more viewers. Like that's just not true. Exactly. It's like I'm terribly unentertaining. That's why I don't have a lot of viewers. So I'm more than okay with this. I like that they added their own section because the truth is I have female stream friends that have, that spend time in just chatting that say it's really hard for me to show a friend or a family member how proud I am of what I've built. Hundreds of people watching me. And then they see on the recommended, it's a bunch of people in bikinis. Yeah. So for those people, I love that it moved to a separate section and I don't think it should be banned or anything like that. It blows my mind that people spend that much money on them. Yeah. But again, to each their own. If people were willing to have me change my bathing suit, like I said, I have no hate for them at all. because I would.
So
be
wait, so
no
what's going
second.
on here? How are they getting the money? How are they paying the Twitch people?
So it's Twitch is through subscribers. You can pay to subscribe. You can use the Twitch currency called bits, where basically 1 bit equals 1 penny. And they'll do things like I'll write your name on my stomach for 1,000 bits or something like that. And this is sadly true, guys. And
you can't make
and
this stuff up.
and then direct donations as well. They'll link their PayPal or whatever. You can actually link cryptocurrencies now even. So people can even pay in Bitcoin and things like that.
Yeah.
So
how many bits could I get if I talk about media theory?
Oh,
Do you think a lot of people I get a lot of bits?
I can't imagine people not wanting to spend money.
You'd have to pay them, Anthony.
Let me add, I'll be in my bikini.
Oh, well, if that's the case, you'll have to pay them
There's
double.
your viewers.
Add a little bit to it. All right, excellent. Well, Bloomer, it's good to have you here. Anything else that you want to mention?
No, I think I kind of ran away with at the beginning there. My big thing with Super Squad right now, that's my big exciting news. Other than that, I work a lot of hours in my garage still, wood burnings, putting together little pieces of whether it's a small desk, a shelving cabinet, whatever. I'm really just a stereotypical Canadian. I wear plaid and I work with a chainsaw. So my life continues to tick forward, you know?
Let me ask you this. I know this is kind of a lame question, but what is the weather up there? What is it feeling like? Because right here it's starting to get a little warm, right?
Yeah, this week is finally. I feel like we turned a corner this week. We were having really strange weather here. We actually had less than a month ago. We had a couple of days of snow, which is not typical for us around here. But no, as of today, like took my dog for a nice long walk by the water, and I think it was 29 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in freedom units for the Americans here, but in oppression units, 29 degrees. So
excellent.
pretty warm.
Yeah, it was pretty warm yesterday. Did it get up to 90 yesterday, or is it just in my head?
Yeah,
I decided to work.
Maybe. If it didn't, it was close.
Yeah, excellent. The dirty down here in the South is what we call it.
The dirty South.
The dirty South, right? All right, excellent. Let's go ahead and get to our topic today. Before I say dirty again, because no one wants to hear that. But today's topic is science fiction technologies that you hope will never get invented, like the scariest sci-fi technologies, right? So we'll go 111, 222, 333, kind of working through our list here. Jeremy, I don't know why you're smugging. I don't know what it is. I feel like you're making fun of me, but you're probably not. That's one thing.
I wouldn't call mine scary or my number 3.
Oh, okay. All right, excellent. So I'll go ahead and go with my number one. My number one, and it might shock you, is the transporter. I hope this never gets invented because of the implications of the transporter. If we actually have to put the transporter in terms of how it would actually exist in real life, you would have to assume the transporter is essentially murdering you and then creating you again in a separate location, which is terrifying. That is horrible, right? Even if you could say, well, it's not murdering you, it's just reshaping you into energy and then reshaping you back into your material form, I guess. But is that possible? Is that actually possible? Or is it just more likely that they're going to murder you and then just recreate you again in a separate location? I feel like Jeremy has
yes, I do. So I think this is the issue of the transporter is entirely predicated upon your belief about a human soul. So if you think there's something inherent in humans, right, that is different from your specific arrangement of chemicals at a given moment, then yeah, it would be terrifying.
See, that's not even my issue, right? That's not even my issue. So let's just put the soul to the side, right? And we'll just say the transporter is essentially killing you. The you that's you is dead. Now the new you is a separate you. It may have your memories, but the you that's here is dead.
So we're talking Borderlands now. Is that what's happening? The new you?
Right? So like technically speaking, if let's say I'm going to get transported. Sure. This is me, right? I am now dead. I no longer exist. And a new me with my memories exists. So I don't exist anymore because I'm dead. See what I'm saying? Like that's how I wrap my head
You know
around the transporter.
what's funny, Anthony, is I was thinking about this one as well, actually, and I ended up settling on a different Star Trek thing. We'll get into a bit, but I think what's interesting is you're right. It's how it actually ends up, how the science of it would work. Because if it was to somehow have a way where we can actually break you down to the molecular level, take those exact same molecules and transport them somehow, or like in the blink of an eye, and reshape them, then I mean, you can argue that in some sense, the new you is the old you. However, is that what would likely happen? Probably not. It would be much more likely that it would be pulling things from the air, from the presence around wherever that new location is, in which case it goes to exactly what you said. And I mean, I thought what Jeremy was saying about the soul, that is actually kind of it's an interesting thing, because you're right. Do you believe that your soul transfers? Do you believe that, like, whatever that inherent human quality that makes you, you? It's not, my hand doesn't make me me. My hair maybe makes me a bit me, but it doesn't totally make me me. There's something inside. Does that transport as well, or is that a new version of yourself? So it would really come down to the science of it, but you're right. If you really think about it, it's terrifying no matter how you slice it.
Yeah, I mean, you also operate on the assumption that humans are as autonomous and self-aware as we think we are.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
What do you mean by that? Explain.
Well, like the continuity of self. So that I am this person that is not just most of, so if we think we truly have autonomy over our choices, then it becomes a bigger issue than if we are essentially active instinctively and we have the illusion of autonomy.
I don't know if that makes it a difference. I don't think that makes a difference at all. Like, just like in terms of what the transporter is doing. So this, before I get, I'm in the transporter, and me as me, meaning the makeup that makes me. I don't believe in the distinction between mind and body. It's the same thing. You can't have a mind without a body, is what I'm trying to say. So this is me, and this is the last moment that I exist, and I no longer exist, and a new me.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's, do you mean your perception of you, right? Does it really exist objectively?
Correct. Yes.
I feel like I should have taken a hit off of something before we got into this conversation. I gotta tell you, like,
I'm like looking around,
deep, guys. Whoa.
Gosh.
Excellent. All right, so that's mine, and that's probably the most terrifying technology.
Okay.
Jeremy, we'll go ahead and go to your number one.
So are we doing 1, 2, 3? Or are we doing 3, 2, 1?
Yeah, 3, 2. Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
Okay. So my number 3 isn't terrifying. It would just be incredibly annoying, and that's flying cars.
Oh, you're taking flying cars. Gotcha. Because mine was self-driving cars last time.
Yeah. So, I mean, flying cars are, in every respect imaginable, a terrible, stupid idea. Humans aren't good at navigating in 3 dimensions anyway.
What if they flew themselves?
Well, so if they're fully controlled, I don't see the benefit of having them flying versus just driving, right? Because if we have full autonomy on the road and it actually works well, then you can get high speed and...
But you're limited on the ground.
In what way?
Direction. So, like, if roads are already built, once you take flight, you can just go from point A to point B without turning at all.
There'd still be, like, roads, though.
There still has to be some sort of navigation.
Sure, but, I mean, in the air, the road in the air can be, instead of doing this, can just be that. And then I here, and then you could have a road above it. And that way, none would ever cross each other.
So, Acid, I'm going to touch on this, and I'm so glad, Jeremy, that you came up with this one, because this was my honorable mention. I so wanted to talk about this one, but it couldn't make it into my top 3, so I'm so glad you said it. But never mind. Think about how bad people are at merging onto a highway already, Acidtrain, okay?
It's awful.
Now imagine you're not just going left and right, you're also going up and down.
Yeah.
Now you go, well, but self-driving, so we don't have to worry. Now imagine for a moment how claustrophobic that feels when you are in lane, let's call it 4 of the up and down, north to south, and you realize there's 4 cars above you, there's 4 cars below you. Now there's also 2 to your left, 2 to your right. That is terrifying. I don't care if they're in theory safe and oh my gosh, that is way
safe
too
or
many
not.
cars
If you
around
wreck
me.
in that situation, you're never going to know it.
By the way,
Well,
let me
you're
ask you.
also going
Right.
to take out people on the ground. I mean,
I'm
that's
going to be
like
teleported
falling
somewhere.
You're gonna be
It's gonna
teleported
be-
to death for sure. You won't be
Yeah.
coming back as a new you at all.
Yeah.
I think that's all. I think the flying car thing is a great one, and I didn't even think about flying cars. I think it actually is great. But the thing about flying cars in terms of like just driving in general is essentially terrifying. We just don't think about it. But driving 90 miles an hour on a highway, you know how easily you could die if someone just pulls out in front of you on another road. I mean, I used to be a firefighter. I saw it all the time. What happens when that? So, but we just don't even think about it. We go 90 miles an hour on a highway. We could easily someone. What'd you say, Jeremy?
I do the speed limit everywhere I go.
Well, not 90,
Well said.
even 80, whatever, 80 miles an hour on the highway. I mean, you could easily just someone pulls out in front of you and you are essentially dead. But we just kind of zone that out. So could that be the same thing in the future? Where in a flying car, we just kind of like, if I die, I mean, I guess I die. I have to get to work. That's
Well,
what-
I mean, and the collateral effect of it is the other big downside, right? So if it's not fully autonomous in a sustainable manner, then, I mean, how many cars break down the side of the road, right? You're going to trust people to maintain their flying vehicle, and it just
What if-
falls out of the sky.
What if it's
and
not
it's a school?
their vehicle? What if they're just a ton
Well,
of
that's
flying
just
cars
socialism and
out there?
communism. And,
I was going
And
to
you
say, so
just,
then
well,
who
no,
owns
and they're
these
constantly
vehicles?
moving like taxi cabs, right? And you just get in one and you go.
Oh, good.
Well, so then
Uber
you're
is in
Kind of like
charge
the
my
the
safety.
people mover at the airport. You just get on.
I mean,
and go.
you're still trusting someone else to maintain the vehicle, right?
That's true. And you're also trusting the computer, too. You're trusting the computer to make the right decision.
You're not trusting the computer. You're trusting the computer programmer.
The dude who made the program
Yeah.
or dudette.
Pretty good one. I like it, Jeremy.
Yeah,
Flying
that's a good
cars
one.
is your number 3 or 1, depending on how you situate it. All right, Acid, what's yours?
I went with vehicle as well, but I went more specific actually because I didn't go too generic actually with any of these. I went pretty specific. So going to Star Trek, I think it was Nemesis is what this was in. Was the Starfleet Argo rover. This thing is completely useless.
Oh my goodness.
It has an excuse me. It has an open top, so it's not even airtight. So it's only going to work in Earth type environments anyway. There's no shield for wind, so when you see them jetting down on this planet, they're all wearing these goggles, right? Even Data's wearing the goggles, and he has synthetic eyes. I wasn't really sure what that was all about. And then it's open. It can't even protect you from water, much less anything else. So I went with the Argo. That was just nah.
And I
we
even
don't
had
need it.
one.
We already
I mean, I think
technically
you're
we already
making-
kind of have this.
You make a great point. And why even have a vehicle on wheels? You could easily just fly in a shuttlecraft wherever you need to go.
That's true.
Why would you need a vehicle
That
on
would be
wheels?
okay. Yeah. Why would you even need that in the future?
We know the answer because it's freaking cool, guys. It's just
yeah.
so cool to see Data with his goggles and his little doom buggy. All right, excellent. I agree, Acid. That is that's a good
Wasn't
one.
Picard the one driving in that one too?
I think so.
Yes, Picard was driving in that one.
We have to make him not seem as old as he is. Let's put him in a dune buggy.
Put him in a dune buggy and put Wolf
some
on the back
goggles.
with a machine gun. I'm like, is this Rambo? What are we doing here?
Yeah, I agree. Pretty bad. All right, Bloomer, what do you have?
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna keep going with the Star Trek theme for a moment, and I'm actually gonna bring up and controversial maybe the phaser.
Ooh.
Now, the reason why, and let me explain, it's not that I'm like, oh, you can't have guns or things that are like, whatever, that's fine. But the concern I have is just imagine for a moment, phasers are across the world. They're all over the place. Every family's got one, it's home protection. It's very easy. You can stun your buddies. Ha ha ha. What a funny thing it is. And we all know that if you and your group of friends, you all have that one friend. We all do. At least I sure as heck have a few of them that at the backyard barbecue, he just like stunned, like, ha ha, gotcha again. And it would be a hilarious joke for him till he's on about beer number 8, 9, 10. And, in his grabbing at it, he accidentally flicks the little switch over to insta kill vaporize and zaps you that way. I'm telling you right now, it would be the leading cause of deaths on like the July 4th weekend,
Yeah,
Victoria Day weekend for Canadians. It would be awful.
Because at least with a
widespread.
bullet, the doctor can take it out. Like with the vaporization, you're done.
only like
And more
It's
specifically,
40% of the spots.
let's be real. If you're holding a shotgun, everyone knows first thing in gun safety, don't point it at anything you don't want to kill. So do not point it at anyone. Plain and simple. Your phaser that usually you always have it kept on stun. Haha, it's a big funny joke to,
defensive
Acidtrain's
purposes
he's about to flip the burger, and mid flip he gets a quick stun. Haha, got him again. You know that people would do that. People are stupid. So you know it would happen, and you know there would be the accident where someone somewhere along the way accidentally flips the switch, turns the dial a little too far, and it would cause all sorts of issues. So we just don't need it. We don't need it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that one. It always seems kind of interesting how you can go from a harmless weapon to something that would vaporize you, and all you had to do is just push a little button on the phaser. All right, now I'm gonna set it to kill, and they're like they just disappear.
Yeah, and it's way too. There's no like override code. There's nothing. It's just like all right, and in the like flick go, or maybe it's a dial. I don't really remember. But point is, it's very dangerous, and I don't think we need it. Not yet.
You can also turn it into a bomb.
That's true.
Yeah.
Set it to overload. Of course,
Make it even worse.
In different times in the Star Trek universe, they make a bigger deal about stun than in others. Like some, it's not a big deal. Some, it's like, hey, you could still kill somebody with it, and certainly not at close range to head. Right.
Yeah. I still have friends that would be stunning me left, right, and center. And I'm like, I don't need that. I just don't need it. You ever been shot with a BB gun, guys? It hurts.
Yeah.
I don't need it anymore. So
There'd be a separate section for it on Twitch, too. Laser stuns.
Exactly. Yeah.
In bikinis. That's what would be happening.
In bikinis.
New meta.
I'm in. If it's bikinis, I'm in, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
All right, excellent. That was our number 3 or number 1. I don't know how we're doing this. Anyways, our first one. All right, so my number 2, my next 2 are ones where I'm actually putting in the context of the film in which it is used. All right. So number 2 would be cloning. I guess it's not a particular film that I'm actually thinking about, but cloning. Now, let me say this. I think if cloning was used for like producing organs and producing tissue and that sort of thing, I can definitely see how that would be very beneficial to society. But Jeremy's got a little. There was a film about this, right?
It was a stupid remake of Logan's Run called The Island, where they did this,
where they would just create people just to be organs. Yeah. Why wouldn't you just make the organs? Like, that doesn't why would you make a full human? It doesn't make any sense, right? So, anyways, if they did it just where they could just reproduce an organ and that sort of thing. If cloning's, or it's like bringing back particular like endangered species, although dinosaurs, maybe not, maybe stay away from dinosaurs. We've learned that from the documentary Jurassic Park. But full cloning of people, no, thank you. Right? That gets a little, that pushes the boundary a little bit. Right? Then we're playing God.
Yeah, I was like, what's the issue with it?
Oh, okay. According to Sam Neill, we're playing God when we're cloning. What do you mean by that, Jeremy? You don't see anything wrong with that?
No.
So really. Just like having a clone of you'd be. I guess now that I'm saying it, I wouldn't mind having a clone of me, just a brother, just to hang out with.
Yeah, I mean, from like, I don't see a application from it, but just from a scientific or a philosophical perspective, I don't see I don't have an issue with it.
All right, well there you go.
Then you'd have to get into cloning rights and all this, like it.
Well, they'd be human, so they'd have human rights.
But they'd have your
memories.
It would be 2 of you.
Well, no, I mean they wouldn't have your memories.
So would it be more like a twin situation? I guess it depends
what you mean by cloning.
Yeah, so, I mean that's the big thing, right? Like what are you like? Are we saying is it cloning? Like I'm just clone me, and now there's 2 of me.
Well, you mean like clone you as an adult, or like a child is born that has the same genetic code you do?
I think there's a huge difference there. right?
Yeah, I mean the latter is what I'm talking about. Having like a copy machine copy a person, then that's that Michael Keaton movie Multiplicity, where if you copy a copy too many times. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the movie that I was thinking of, right? But yeah, so I think having like taking you and cloning you to make a baby that's you essentially is kind of just childbirth. Like it's just creating another human like you. But yeah, just doing the multiplicity thing is what I have more of a problem with there. All right, that's mine. Jeremy, what do you have?
So my number 2, I'm not even sure if I think it's possible in any real sense, but number 2 is time travel.
Okay.
Yeah, so I could see the argument for it sort of being possible to go into the future, but I don't think there's any way to go to the past. But even if it somehow became possible, I hope it doesn't. I think it's a real bad idea.
Yeah, so the only way that time travel would be theoretically possible would be if there was parallel universes where time was different. Like you would just actually go to a universe where it was in the past.
Well, time travel into the past would only be possible if faster than light travel is possible. Is the boundary, I think.
Of course, the really confusing thing is, and that's why every movie or anything that's ever dealt with time travel, there's always the established rules they have to make, is because of the fact that in theory, if you went back because of the butterfly effect, because of anything that you change would have changed the future, to make the future change that you were already living in prior to going back to make the changes would have had to have already resulted. So it's a really difficult one. Yeah. It's a super difficult one. I don't think we'll have to worry about that one in our lifetime. But I mean, hey,
probably not.
with all this UFO talk, though, I mean, I'm just saying, guys, have you watched the news lately? Geez, who knows what's coming up?
I mean, I've been super disappointed by the UFO video thing, but
yeah, I'm not expecting a lot, but I still am looking forward to. Apparently, they're going to release a report giving all the information they know or something. I don't know. Nice. I'm hoping that they just say aliens.
They were hidden deep within Mars, and we didn't know.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say, because a lot of times when you hear UFO, a lot of people go straight to aliens. UFO does not mean aliens; it just means they have no idea what it is.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah. All right. Time travel is Jeremy's number 2. Acid, what you got?
All right. For this one, I went to Men in Black because some of the technologies in there, I just don't think we need. The one that I went with, of course, was the Neuralizer. You guys remember this thing? The nice little red stick, or the silver stick with the red light at the end of it. Can you imagine if this was a thing and you just...
It is. It's called Age.
Point it well.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you can point this at anybody you want, right? It totally wipes their memory for, of course, you've got the little dial on it so you can go back or whatever, however long you need to, and then just make up a story. Just make up a story for the last, day. Like, you can go, like you've been in a hot tub for 24 hours and changing bikinis. Like, it's okay. Like, I think it's a really bad idea. Because
are you against the removal of any kind of memory?
Yes.
Or just
don't. I think it messes with the person who they are, like deep down, like that. It's your experiences that make who you are, and if you remove that, you're removing the person.
Now, do you agree with that? If it was like a traumatic memory that someone was having removed,
it still makes you. It's still overcoming stuff like that. As a part of what we are later, like, so you experience a death in the family or a tragic accident or whatever it is, getting past that and working through that situation. I mean, whether it's for the better or worse, it still makes you who you are.
That's fair.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. But so making you, having your memories make you who you are, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about as far as this, the self and whatnot. So, like, I've had lots of experiences that I've just forgotten about, but I still feel like I'm the same person I was before, right? But I just don't remember these things anymore that I used to know.
I think there's a difference between it getting forcefully removed, right?
Yeah.
But
That's
isn't
why
it great?
You may
when
have developed habits in your younger years for some whatever they are, and you still do them today, but you're like, why do I do this? And you don't know, but you did them because you were having experiences when you were younger. You may just not remember why you do things. Or say something in a specific way.
See,
I guess it
Jeremy,
depends on-
I get what you're saying about how like you forget things, but don't you like just absolutely love those moments when you're just about to fall asleep at night and you just remember like when you were 13 years old and you said that really stupid thing to your crush on MSN and you're just like, why did I say that? Oh, that was so cringy of me. I should never have said that. And then you're up for 15 minutes thinking about that. Isn't that just the
So
worst?
great.
Okay.
I do that every night. I did it last night, just thinking about what I did 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Why did I say that to that dude on the street? What was my
For me, it happens way more often than I want to admit, but it's things that happened like 15 years ago, 20 years ago. No one remembers. And even if they did, they'd be like, oh, kids, haha, you were 13. No one cares. But meanwhile, I'm like, oh, I can't sleep now. I'm panicking. Should I get in touch with them? Should I call them?
Should I apologize?
Yeah.
What did you say to this girl? This poor girl.
I was not the smoothest when I was 13, 14. Let's just put it that way.
All right, excellent. So that was Acid. Let's go move on to Bloomer. What you have?
So mine not quite as nefarious as some of what you guys just said this time, but I was picturing think Minority Report when he's like Tom Cruise is controlling everything with his hand for the computer. I just want to mention that, I mean, it's a cool concept. I like the idea of it, but have you ever actually had to hold your hand out for like 5 minutes straight? It's exhausting, guys. It's exhausting. You know it's a lot easier? Putting your hand on a table and resting your arm down and moving a mouse. That is so much better, so much easier. The calories you're saving yourself, you're going to live longer. Strong recommend it, guys. Do not worry about this. This is stupid.
That was so not the direction I thought you were going to go in.
There's
so many issues with like moral, ethical dilemmas in Minority Report. You went with my hand gets tired doing this too long.
I'm standby. If you have to hold your hand out for 30, imagine now you have to write an entire report. You're in school again. You're spending all night. Oh my God, this is exhausting. You're trying to type. That's not good for you. That is an awful experience. I don't think we need it.
By the way, I still think that's going to be the future of everything. All media it's essentially we're all going to have a chip in our wrist. You're going to double tap it. A hologram's going to pop up. Then you can manipulate it. You can throw it on your wall. You can carry it with you. It follows you. You can put it on this wall. That's going to be media in the future.
But if you're going to do that, why not just inject the chip right here so that it's right in front of your eyes so you don't have to keep your arm out the whole time? Because again, it gets exhausting. I'm telling you.
I think people want to they want to see it on a screen. Like I like that.
Yeah, but if you can still throw it around, it's still just in your eyes. I mean, whatever. If it just knows, they'd have to figure out the technology, obviously, and how you're looking and stuff like that. They've got eye tracking technology. There's all sorts of things. So you'd still see it as if it was on your wall up there or right here or wherever it is. It's just meanwhile, it's all happening right here and probably directly to your brain, quite frankly.
I can see that. Like on Black Mirror, right?
Otherwise, again, because if I have to hold up my wrist like this or whatever to play with it the whole time, I'm going to get tired. I'm going to be fatigued.
Now do that for 8 hours, 5 days a week, every day. Yeah.
And how fatigued are you?
What about my standing desk? Like my standing desk? Get a little bit of exercise going.
Yeah. You know what's even better than a standing desk? A desk that you can sit at.
A sitting desk.
Nice.
Yeah, sitting desk.
Have
Big
one of those.
fan. Yeah.
All right, excellent. So that was our number twos with some chairs, some very comfy, cool-looking gamer chairs that you guys got there.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and get to our final one, and this one actually is from Minority Report, and the technology is specific to Minority Report.
Okay. So
precog technology, the way they are using precog technology. Okay. So for example, in Minority Report, right, they're using precogs to predict future crimes. So what they do is they stop the crime, and then they punish the person who has not committed the crime, right? Why? Stop the crime, and then that's it, right? Why would you punish the person who has not committed the crime, right? You could keep the technology while getting out of that ethical gray area, right?
Well, we punish people right now for conspiracy to commit crimes.
There's a difference between, well, I guess it depends on the type of crime. So if it's a like so what you're saying is if someone was like thinking about murdering someone and prepared the whole thing, then they should be punished.
Well, I'm not saying they should or shouldn't. I'm just saying we do that now.
True. But so what I'm saying is if they haven't committed the crime, you can't punish them for the crime they haven't committed. You could punish them for conspiracy to commit a crime, right? I'm fine with that. But punishing them for the crime they have not committed yet is where we get into the ethical area, right? That's the whole dilemma of Minority Report, right? That's the ethical dilemma. Well, then just don't punish them. Stop the crime. So if you have two people in a bar and they're arguing about what the greatest band is, and one person gets angry, they pull out their gun and they shoot the other person, but you stop the shooting, you stop the crime, and then there's no need to punish anybody. You wouldn't punish the person for committing murder because they haven't committed it yet. So what I was trying to say is, why not just keep the precog technology, stop the crime, and then just say, okay, we stopped the crime. Everybody go home. There you go.
Well,
I mean,
I guess the assumption would be that the person would then be free to go back and do it. And so it's just a continuous.
That's when you hit him with a neuralizer.
Stopping this person. From
And I guess would there be like a 3-strike system? Like the first time we stop you, like, okay, everyone gets a little crazy sometimes. Those kids on Acidtrain's bus, man, they make y'all want to wring their neck once in a while. Like, it's fine. Yep. But like 3 strikes you're out. Okay, you keep having these thoughts. It's literally Tuesday at 9 a.m. and we've had to stop you 6 times. Like this. Well,
then you would get them mental help, right? Now we're getting to all the other issues, right? So
yeah,
we're getting to a whole other issues, right, with the criminal system, right? What I'm trying to say is you treat it the same way you treat 911. Right? We don't punish people for continually calling 911 over and over and over again, right? We don't, because I was a firefighter. I know this. So you just treat it like 911. Uh-oh, someone's about to kill somebody. Let's get in there. We'll stop them. Okay, now don't do it.
Don't
right?
do it.
I know it sounds silly, but if that's the ethical dilemma, if punishing someone for a crime they have not committed is the dilemma, or punishing them for, so if you want to say, okay, we'll give them 2 years in prison for planning out this murder versus actually punishing them for committing murder. You can't do that because they haven't committed the murder yet. So you just stop the murder and you go, all right, now you're under arrest for attempting murder or whatever. Right. There you go. That's the problem. I just solved Minority Report. I solved the problem, and you could have had the peace. Like
well, I thought the actual problem was that the precogs weren't right. And so people were getting punished for no reason.
No. They were right. They just got tricked. Remember, Minority Report, they got tricked.
I mean, if you get tricked, you're not right.
True. Well, but then once again, you're still not punishing someone for.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, I agree with you, but I also would be against the entire concept of precogs and.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, I'm actually okay with the precog technology. Just just stop them and say, all right, go home. All right, there you go. That's my little spiel. Jeremy, what's your number 1?
So my number 1 is artificial superintelligence. So I don't really, I'm not really sure if I think it's actually possible in the way most people view it. But if it is, and there's an AI that is smarter than humans, that has access to its source code and can recursively modify it, then that's terrifying. And that's the point at which there's no prediction as to what will occur after that moment. So I kind of hope it never comes. I mean, AIs could do a smarter than human AGI could hypothetically do a whole lot of good, but
Sure.
at the same time, if it did a whole lot of good, it almost makes humans kind of unnecessary. So if you remove all struggle from life, I don't think it's really life.
So do you,
So you don't-
are you saying that it's the sentient part of the AI that is the problem?
No, it is the recursively self-improving part while being generally smarter than humans.
So you wouldn't want the cipher matrix stream of ignorance is bliss and being whatever you want without any issues.
No. Well, so what I'm saying is I don't, AI, I mean, an ASI could hypothetically solve every problem that humanity faces. But by doing so, if you remove all struggle from life, I don't really know what makes life worth living anymore.
What do you mean by struggle, though? Like that there's a huge difference there. If struggling means I trip on my curb on my way to work,
No, I mean,
I still struggle.
no, I mean, energy, every job imaginable. It can make art better than any human. Humans just become unnecessary.
Well, I think a lot of people would disagree with you that the AI would make better art because art is all in terms of like the human emotion that's behind art, what it represents.
Well, I mean, that's assuming you can't break emotion down into algorithms.
So the AI can't express the human experience through art. It's expressing what it thinks the human experience is.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with.
I mean, I'm not 100% sold on what I said either.
It sounded really good, so
Yeah.
just going with it,
Yeah, I mean, there's hypothetically, I mean, there's nothing that is physically possible that a sufficiently intelligent AI, if it's possible in, not really sentient, but acts as if, there's no reason it can do everything better than humans.
Fair enough. Excellent. There you
And
go.
the flip side is it's terrifying if it's not friendly.
It could just be like in the book Hyperion, where they just don't care about us. They just go do their own little thing, and they don't care about us.
I mean, that's probably the most likely scenario. But then at that point, if you're utilizing resources for yourself, then it's essentially unfriendly because humans just starve to death.
That's true. That's very true. All right, Acid, what's your number one?
All right, I'm going to go with something a little less controversial here. A little less.
Does it have anything to do with how tired your arms get?
Actually, it will. It will.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
This is from Fallout. Okay.
Pip-Boy.
And yeah, we're going to go with the Pip-Boy. This thing is massive. Okay, there is no way that any human could put this on their arm. I mean, if you see, they've actually made the replica ones, and it just covers like half of your arm and everything. And it's got the little knobbies and the touch screens and all this other stuff. I'm like, what are you? We have it. We have this device already. It's called a phone.
Oh,
You don't need this massive thing. And this is futuristic. This was, what year was this, Bloomer? Do you remember? Like
gosh,
Fallout
no,
4? I don't know.
Well, the idea was that.
Well, it was alternate, so.
Yeah, like certain things had halted and.
Right. But, I mean, that was their future. And this is.
But have they seen the Apple Watch? Because it does everything and the screen's like this big. It's
that big.
actually
And
insane.
it might work, it might not. We don't know, because Apple did it.
That's
But
fair.
It won't tell you if you've been shot in the arm, though.
no, just block the bullet. Just,
Well, it'll tell you that your pulse rate is going like first up rapidly and then a lot slower all of a sudden. And they're gonna be like, maybe you should check into this.
Can you imagine if your Pip-Boy was your Fitbit and you was just one arm would be bigger than the other after you got done for like 6 months of walking?
There's a joke in there somewhere, but I'm not
There
going to touch
is.
it.
There is a joke in there somewhere.
I'm waiting for it. Someone was going to say something.
But Pip-Boy, definitely my number one on that one.
All right, Bloomer, what do you have?
So, I mean, I'm scared to go back to controversial here, but Because both Jeremy and Acidtrain kind of touched on it in the same talk there with Jeremy's, was the Matrix. The Matrix in the whole of the Matrix. That's terrifying. And let me explain why. It's the exact opposite reason of what Jeremy said. Listen, if I'm all for VR, I want VR to continue and get better. If we can get augmented reality to be insanely cool, I'm down. I love technology. That's really neat. But if we're going to have the Matrix, like, give me some superpowers. I should be able to fly. I should have magic spells. I should have mana regen. Like, these are important things to me in my VR experience. The Matrix, you're giving me this life? This is what I've accumulated in the Matrix. Like, congratulations, Bloomer. You get to stream to upwards of 20 viewers at a time. Like, that's your big achievement? Like, come on, sort it out, Matrix. We can do a little better than this.
Now remember what Mr. Smith said. Mr. Smith said that the Matrix was first a utopia, and people couldn't accept it because they wanted to suffer, right? That's what Jeremy says.
And I
like to suffer.
I get that, but let me tell you right now, I do not like to suffer. I would much prefer, again, right now, we're going for COVID still. Like, get rid of that stuff first off. Let's go with that. Second, hey, Acidtrain, you want to go for a beer? I'm just going to jump up into the air, fly over to your place, then you and I can walk over to the pub, drink 13 or 14 without any effects the next day, and we'll have a great time.
Have a good time.
That sounds to me
why
like
would
a
you
much
drink
better
if
Matrix.
there's no effects?
Well, no, you still get the nice effect like during, but like that after effect, that drunken hungover. Yeah. Because I got to
get rid
tell
of all the bad stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Go back to like when I was 19 and I was drinking. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I feel so hungover for 20 minutes.
And then we can go to the all-you-can-eat wing buffet and not gain any weight whatsoever.
Not a pound extra, you know, and they're penny wings because why not? It's my Matrix, and I want to spend $1. You know, that's
a whole $1.
Yeah, 100 wings.
Dinner's on me.
At home, you know?
Now I have one White Claw and I'm sleepy. That's my life.
Listen, I'm totally the same. I don't drink a ton by any means, but I think it was 3 beer this was like 2-3 weeks ago. I had 3 beer and I was like headachy. I was like, turn the lights off, don't talk to me. Like, what happened? I got really old. And I think, again, in my Matrix, if we're going to do this, let's do it right. I'm going to stay youthful. I'm going to have the energy like I did when I was young and in shape. I'm not going to have to work out to be in shape. I'm just going to have a killer bod. Like, these are the things. I should be able to be in my bikini while eating McDonald's. You know what I mean? Like, that's the Matrix I'm looking for. And as far as I'm concerned, if you're not doing that, there shouldn't be a Matrix. And it's a huge mistake.
Well said.
All right. Excellent. Well, Bloomer wants to fly around in the Matrix, and Jeremy just wants us all to suffer. Right? To feel it, because that's the only way we're going to be alive. As he says, as he grinds his teeth and sticks himself with his knife in his.
I want my pain. I need my pain.
Now the question, Bloomer, when in the Matrix, if you're on a school bus, do the wheels go round and round? Do the wheels on the bus go round and round?
Well, according to the song, yes, it still does.
Okay.
However, again, what if it's a flying bus?
Could
they
be.
Still?
That's true.
You even have wheels on a flying bus? I mean, I don't know.
This is like the Magic School Bus. You remember that?
This is ridiculous technology, and we don't need it. I love the Magic School Bus.
We're getting to the point in this joke where even I'm getting tired of it. Where even I'm getting tired.
I have to throw it in there. Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay.
All right, so that's our segment, right? What do you think? Like and subscribe. Tell us what do you know what? All right, so let's go. Asa, let's go ahead and move on to our trivia for today.
All right, we got some trivia. Let's do this, Gus. We got 3 questions. Get your pads ready, or get your Googles ready, whatever you want to use.
Yeah, ignore my frantic
Don't
typing
listen to the
sounds,
typing.
guys.
Yeah, you don't need any of the typing. Okay, so here we go, guys. We're going to keep this. Oops, hang on. We did that one already. We're not going to do that one again. All right, we're going to go Star Wars. We're going to start off with a Star Wars question. So I hope you're big Star Wars fans. Bloomer, good luck. How many planets can you name that are in the Star Wars universe? Planets in the Star Wars universe. when I call you, I'll say a number and just kind of raise your hand if you can name 4. We'll start small. Can anybody name 4 planets in the Star Wars universe?
Yes.
Well, guess we have our winner.
Wow.
Can name 37.
27. We're going to start with 27 planets.
Oh, see, I wrote the number 14 down, so I mean, I can name 14, I said, but I hope there was no follow-up.
Oh, okay.
beyond that.
Yeah, there was going to be a follow-up. That's for sure.
We trust you.
You could have
Yeah.
just named,
Yeah,
could have
no,
just said words, and I would have been like,
Yeah.
that's correct.
Planet 3.
Yes, correct.
3.
All right, if nobody can name anybody for 5, Jeremy's got 4.
Yeah, I got 5.
I'm
Go
going to let
ahead
him
and
do
just give me
5.
the-
Let's do 5. All right, Jeremy, go for it.
Dantooine, Hoth, Yavin, Coruscant, Tatooine.
I believe you.
I've heard of some of those,
Wow.
so I know he's right.
Yeah, I have 2.
Is Alderaan one? Did I just make
Alderaan
that?
is 1. Yeah.
What about Tagabon?
That's a Girl Scout cookie.
Tebathol?
Oh, no, that's Tagalong. Never mind.
I was like, you're just looking at the name of your lip chap down there, going like, that's the one.
Oreo?
Yeah, reading things around the room. Switch? Is Switch a planet keyboard? Planet guitar? No?
All right.
Okay.
We're going to go comic books, superheroes, villains, all that
All
good
right, here
stuff.
we go. Let's bring it in. Let's do this.
A whole list of just heroes, supervillains,
Yeah, how
everything?
many heroes can you name? No, we're not going to do that. We're going to get a lot more specific than that.
Okay, I was like, this is going to take some time.
How many superheroes, supervillains can you name?
No. How many comic book pregnancies can you name? Into which a comic book character became pregnant in a hot tub. No.
Did you like someone who was pregnant, or like they had to have
Has
become
ever
pregnant
been
in the?
Pregnancies. Yep.
And
I
it's
don't remember.
exclusive
And these are-
just to comic
I would
books.
I would go as far as to delivering as well.
Okay.
And so
Or
this is
miscarriage.
comics. What are you asking? Comic series? or
Comic, just comic book pregnancies. So I need the name of the person or creature or whatever that was pregnant and delivered and or lost child.
Oh yeah.
We have some good.
Does it have to
pregnancy
be in
music.
does it have to be comic form? It can't be like comic show, right?
Comic book? Yeah, comic book.
Comic book.
In the pages of a book. Okay, give me a few more seconds to think about it. All right, we'll start with a low number. Who can name 46? No. Who can name 3? Who can name 3?
Yeah.
I can name 3.
3, all right. Who can name 4?
I can name 4.
Yeah, I got 4.
Man, Jeremy, you slayed at this, dude.
All right, we'll go to 6. Who's got 6?
I got 6.
Okay,
Wow.
anybody have 7? Bloomer, do you have 7?
I have 13. Again, just don't
Nice.
follow up with any
Okay.
questions, and I got 13.
Correct. Bloomer
Correct.
wins this
Thank you.
round.
Thank you. No, I want to hear what you guys are coming up with because I'm not doing near as well as you guys. And I'd
The
love
thing
to
is,
hear
like, I'm like, there's so many. I can't think of any of their names.
And there's a lot that I could guess get pregnant. but I
Yeah.
don't.
Okay, so Anthony's at 6. Jeremy, can you do 7? Anthony looking at his Google wall back behind him. All right, a few more seconds.
I've got 6.
I have 8.
Oh
Go ahead and do 8.
All right. Anthony, let's hear 8.
So Mrs. Fantastic, right? The Invisible Woman,
Does she get pregnant?
Yeah, because they have a kid. It's Frank Richards. Scarlet Witch gets pregnant. Black Widow in like a What If has a kid with Captain America. Lois Lane obviously gets pregnant at one point. Princess Leia, there's a comic with Princess Leia. She gets pregnant because there's comics with Star Wars. Jessica Jones gets pregnant with Luke Cage's kid. And then Phoenix or Jean Grey gets pregnant. And then my last one, this is the most controversial one, Venom. Venom has Carnage. That's technically giving birth to Carnage. So that's my 8. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay. Either way, you got that round.
Is that canon?
Where Venom gives birth to Carnage? Yeah. Yeah, Carnage comes from Venom. I feel like he separates him from him.
All right, and here's the last one. This one's for all the marbles. How many hot tub streamers can you name? No, I'm just...
Oh, I got this one. Let's go, boys.
All right, we're going to go with cybernetics. Okay, cybernetics. Get your brains ready for cybernetics. So how many fictional cybernetic civilizations can you name?
My goodness.
Yep. Can be comic, could be video game, could be book, could be television show, movie, whatever.
Are we saying cyborg-like?
Cybernetic.
That's what I wanted to make sure.
Cyborgish cybernetic civilizations.
And we're looking for the name
not
of the
Lego
actual civilization.
What's that?
Go.
You're looking for the name of the actual civilization, not just like a reference to where it is or anything like that, because names and stuff.
Depends. We'll see.
We'll
see what you come
can
up
you
with.
define cybernetic? What you're meaning?
Like when I wouldn't say cyberpunk, I would be like the name of the civilization within cyberpunk sort of thing.
Sure. Yeah, that'd be okay.
Okay,
Well,
so I'll be struggling a bit. more with
I would say
They can't just be robot. They have to be cyborg, right? Is what you're saying?
like everything or most everything within that civilization is cybernetic.
Yeah, but how are you defining cybernetic?
We're saying they have to be part human, part
Right.
machine.
Correct.
Part human or part?
Part something, part machine.
Part alien or whatever.
Yeah. Not
Okay.
fully. Yeah, not fully machine.
Okay.
The example would be what Bloomer said would be cyberpunk.
There just went 3 in mine.
Yeah, I know. I like the first couple. I was like, well, that's pretty. No, that's not right. That's not right.
I can only think of one. I'm trying to think of names.
Okay. Give it a few seconds to think it over. Okay.
These are species, right? These are races of people. Not individual one-offs don't count.
Yeah, not individuals, no.
And you couldn't say something like humans in this universe, humans in this world.
But is it that civilization? Is it
If
that?
they're humans in this particular world, humans are cyborgs. Would that count? See what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah.
I think that would count. Yeah, just
I would
reference
say
where
so.
it's
Yeah.
referencing.
If we
to.
want to broaden that, sure. Yeah. Okay.
That adds 1.
That's one.
I know.
Nice. Anthony's like, yes, I got one. Now I have 2. All right. Who can name? We'll start with 2. Who can name 2?
Yeah,
Okay.
I can name
Who's
2.
got 3?
I got 3.
I got 3.
4? Who's got 4?
I'm gonna tap at 4.
I only have 3. I'm trying to think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's it. Like some of mine, I'm like, I don't even know if these count. So I'm gonna wait to see what you guys are saying.
You do 4, Jeremy?
I only got 3 right now. I mean, yeah, it's the race.
Okay, here we go. I'll tell you what. Each of you, Jeremy, Anthony, give me your 3, and then if Bloomer has one that neither of you have, he takes the round. That's what's going to happen.
Yikes.
All right, Anthony, you're first. Let's hear your 3.
So obviously the Borg, but these other ones, they probably don't
Okay.
count. They're not completely races. They're just They're just humans who are cyborgs, right? So in Old Man's War, they have cybernet. They have like robot bodies, but they're humans. Like they're human beings, but they have synthetic bodies. Does that count?
That would count as a
But it's
cybernetic
not-
civilization. Yeah.
I thought they were human bodies though.
No,
That they
they're
get put into. They're just synthetic.
they're enhanced bodies.
But the base of them is human.
Depends on what you mean by human. Like if
Or
they're synthetic, so they're not human, right?
What are
That's
they
insulting
other
to
than
synthetic people.
machine?
What was that?
What are they other than machine? What's
What
the
are they?
base?
Their
I mean,
mind.
are they machine?
Their mind.
Their mind is their base.
Their mind is their human base.
No.
Okay, that doesn't count. And then Neuromancer, that doesn't really count either, because they're just everybody can jack into.
Yeah. No.
All right, so I got 3
Okay, what you
that I'm
got?
confident in.
Okay. All right, let's hear it.
The Borg,
Okay.
Cybermen, and Daleks from Doctor Who.
And all right, Bloomer.
So I'm not really confident in any of the ones I wrote, other than, again, I wrote Star Trek Borg down. I'd like to,
Yeah.
just so everyone can.
There it is.
Guess you got
Good old
it's there.
Borg.
Okay, so because first I had iRobot as a movie, but then I was like, no, that's just like robots that intermingle, so it doesn't count. Then so this one now, Acid, you're the expert on this one, but are there certain races within Mortal Kombat that are technically part cyborg? Because I feel like I'm trying to remember the name
Yeah.
of the one dude. but-
The Lin Kuei, some of them are cyborg.
so because I was thinking some of the people, I remember them having like
yeah,
cyborg
so like
parts.
Cyrax and
Oak.
yeah, Smoke was one of them.
Smoke is
Later
who I
on,
was
he
thinking
was
of, actually.
later on he was one of them.
Yeah,
And let's see, Cyrax. What was that?
and there was one other guy.
Yeah, there was another one. Oh gosh.
Anyways.
The red one, right?
So I
Yeah.
said that one.
Okay.
Obviously, I
I'll
wrote
give you that one,
Cyberpunk,
'cause there
Star
was a
Trek.
fleet of them. So yeah.
Again, this one doesn't count. I wrote Detroit Become Human, but again, that's the same thing as iRobot, so don't worry.
Yeah.
But here's one. This is one that I wasn't sure because it's technically not cyborg. I don't think. I think it's made from genetic material, but at the same time, maybe not. I don't remember. But what about the movie Avatar? No.
It's kind of like Old Man's War. It's kind of the same thing with
Yeah.
Old Man's
Yeah,
War.
it's a.
They were
I didn't-
biological bodies.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure because I mean, I think you're right, and that's why I was like, I don't know. But I was like, maybe they are some sort of machine.
Well, anyway, or in any event, Bloomer
But-
takes the entire game because he brought up
Hooray.
Mortal Kombat. Congratulations.
Yeah,
Wow.
which let's be honest, I know my way into Acidtrain's heart here. The judge, right, is just
Just bring up Mortal Kombat.
normally it would be Hearthstone, but right now I heard a little.
It'll
So
get
Mortal
better,
Kombat.
eventually.
Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat's good. But yeah, so that was
There you go.
Got it.
Excellent.
Congratulations, Bloomer.
Thank you.
You win
well-deserved
a
victory.
lifetime supply of Velcro. So I
Wow,
hope you're
I use a
excited
lot of
about that.
Velcro. I am.
Good.
That's great.
Good. Anthony will mail that to you via Canadian Moose. Is that how you're doing that thing?
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
year now?
yeah,
So it'll be there
Get
within
out of-
2 to 6 years. Somewhere.
yeah. That sounds about right for the Canadian Postal Service.
All right, everyone, that was our show for today. We talked about technologies that we hope will never be invented. Don't forget to, like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff, right? You can follow us on Spotify, Apple. You can listen to us on podcast form, video form. And, of course, you can always check out our website at scifigangster.com. Gangstas.com.
Gangsters.
Gangster for whatever.
Gangsters.com.
We're gangsters now, guys. All right. But, yeah, that's the show for today. Have a good one, everybody.
See ya.
Take care.